Hello, everybody. Just wanted to get on here and just chat with you a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't have any yard sale footage right now. Well, I have some yard sale footage. I just haven't got around to editing it. It's in a minute. But anyway, just wanted to get on here and just share a couple of things with you. A couple of thoughts. Whenever you get to our age, we're in our 60s, and we're in a different phase of life. Life looks different for us than it did 10, 20 years ago. Whenever we were still raising our kids and we were helping with grandkids. We had kids graduating and getting married and having children, and now our grandchildren are in their 20s, except for we have two that are 11. But life just looks different, and life can get lonely because your children have their lives, and now the grandchildren are in their 20s. They have their lives. As a matter of fact, I have 4 grandchildren that are married. We've got 2 great grandbabies, and so life just looks a lot different for us. And at some point, you just have to start accepting, the place that you are and embrace it and try not to be too sad about it, although it is really different. And we love our children, we love our grandchildren, but we realize that, they don't want to sit around with a couple of old people, So we are just trying to kind of reinvent ourselves a little bit because both of us worked hard all of our lives. And I was in social services. My husband, he was a used car dealer for many years, had a business here in town. And so things look a lot different for us, now. We have a lot of free time on our hands that we've never had. We've been married for almost 48 years, and we have more free time than we've ever had in our lives. And so now we're kind of like, what do we do with it? And so you do have to, think about it and just to start reinventing yourself and to have a purpose, because you've got to have a purpose. If not, then your life gets very stagnated, very boring, and the depression really starts setting in. And depression is really bad this time of the year, because we're in the middle of winter and the days are short, and we can't get out. And like my husband's a big golfer, and I like to work in flowers and have a little vegetable garden. You can't do those types of things right now. And I was just looking on my deck the other day, and I haven't gone out there and got the dead stems out of my planters from my mom's from back in the fall. But anyway, just saying all that to say this is that stay busy. Whenever you get up in the mornings, get up with a purpose. Sometimes I lay in bed at night and I start thinking, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow, and start planning out my day for the next day. Because, 15, 20 years ago, I didn't have that option. I had to get up and go to work. I had a purpose. I had a job. I had to be there. And now things look different. And so, we try to stay as busy as we can, and we try to have something planned every day where we get out of the house a little bit, we get a little bit of exercise, and thank God that we still got, that we're in relatively good health, that we can still get out and be a little active. But in the mornings, what I usually do, I am probably the least morning person that you will ever meet. My husband is the most morning person you will ever meet, probably. But you know what they say, opposites attract. But anyway, what I try to do in the mornings, and I've shared before about the lupus, about living with lupus. And so whenever I get up in the mornings, I'm really, really stiff, really sore. And a lot of that's from age, and a lot of it's from the lupus. But what I normally do is, of course, I get up and, catch up on the news like most people do, and then, eat a little. And then I come out and I get on my treadmill, and I walk on my treadmill at least 30 minutes. And I really like to walk in my neighborhood. I live in a really nice subdivision that's got a good walking area, but of course it's too cold right now. But weather permitting, I would rather walk outside so I can get the fresh air. But my point is just to have something, have a purpose, have a reason to get up, have something to look forward to. That's really important, especially during this time of the year, as I said, with the shorter days and so on and so forth. And just, I know some people have, some health problems and some other things going on that, saying, oh, well, it's easy for you to say because, you don't have this or that going on with you. And I understand that. But just try to be just just as active as you can. If it's, if it's physical activity you're not able to do, mental activity. My mother-in-law, she just passed away back in November, and she was just sharp as a tack right up to the very end. She's 91. And one thing she always done, she always kept her mind active. She always done, crossword puzzles, and, she was Facebooking whenever she was 91 years old, right up until she passed away, which is amazing that she would have those types of skills. But anyway, that is something I wanted to share with you, because our life does look different. And sometimes it gets really lonely, because we're like, well, do our kids really care anything about us? They don't really come visit that often. And the thing about it is, they have their own lives. They're raising their own families. And I get it. But I still would like to see them a whole lot more. And then I've got one family that actually lives out of town. Well, I've got 2 or 3 family members that live out of town that are a couple hours away. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But I guess the point I'm trying to get at is that you've just got to reinvent yourself and just embrace this phase of life. It's not like whenever you were raising your children and things were busy and you're like, oh man, I just like some time for myself, just to, be able to have some time. And you do need that time whenever you're living during that time, all that run. You have got to reset at some point. But then, if you could look 20 or 30 years down the road and you're like, oh man, now what do I do with my time? And I guess that my message to you is just to embrace this part of life. You can't just give up. Whenever you retire, you can't just sit down in your recliner and sit there and watch game shows all day, or eat, or whatever that you do. The important thing is to get up every morning with a purpose. And, like I said, I get up, I, catch up on the news, I eat a little breakfast, I come and get on my treadmill for 30 minutes. While I am on the treadmill for 30 minutes, the first 10 minutes or so, I'm kind of meditating and just kind of soaking in my thoughts, trying to shake out negative energy, trying to absorb positive energy into my being. And then the next 20 minutes or so, I pray. And I have a mental prayer list that I have in my head, and I pray for people that I've seen prayer requests for on Facebook, that people that's called me or sent me texts or asked me to pray for them. And that is how I start my day. And it makes such a difference. It makes such a difference in my day and my attitude toward my day and how that my day progresses. But we are enjoying this part of our lives. We haven't got to do a lot of traveling because of other situations. I was homeschooling my grandson for a while, and then, of course, we was taking care of my husband's mother for a while because my husband's an only child, so we were her primary caregivers. And so we had all that going on. And I was just thinking, just in the last few days, I thought, how come I'm feeling so empty and so alone? Nothing's really changed. And, from this time last year, I said nothing's really changed. It has, because I'm no longer homeschooling my grandson, and my mother-in-law passed away. So we do have a whole lot more time on our hands. And, because when we retired, we got involved in that. And so, we were still pretty active, pretty busy, still had our days pretty much planned out for us because we had obligations. And now we really don't have any obligations. We'll help them out here or there. Somebody needs us to go pick up something or to watch a child or something. We are happy to do that. But the majority of our time, we've got to get up and we got to plan our day. Or we got to plan our day before we ever get up. We've got to make sure we have a purpose. We've got to make sure we have something to look forward to. We've got to make sure we start our day off with a positive vibe. Like I said, I get on my treadmill. The first 10 minutes or so, I'm just meditating, just absorbing good positive thoughts into my being and shaking off any negativity that's trying to get into my head. It's so easy for that negativity to just try to seep in there. You've got to really work hard to keep that out. And then I pray. And, I'm a very spiritual person, and my time praying and my personal time with God really gets me in the mindset I need to be in. I get to a place of peace. I get to a place of contentment. I long for a strong presence of God in my life and strive for that. And by the time I get off of my treadmill, and I keep pointing this way because my treadmill's over here. By the time I get off my treadmill, my whole attitude has changed, my energy's changed, and it's set in my tone. And, that to me is, worth a whole lot just to get myself started off to a good start with my day. And with the lupus, it's really hard for me up in the day because I used to try to exercise in the afternoon too. But with lupus, and those of you that have lupus or fibromyalgia or any of those autoimmune disorders, that toward, you have like a good 6 to 8 hour window, then you kind of hit that block wall. And you've got to recognize that time. You've got to get the rest you need. It may be a 15 or 20 minute just rest. It could be a 15 or 20 minute nap, but you've got to do that to reset. Those that understand that or that have that, exactly what I'm talking about, because you just hit a block wall. But, I'm not in the best of health, but I'm thankful for my health. I'm very thankful for everything that God's planted in my life. God's blessed my family, and God's blessed me. And I couldn't be, I could be happier in my spiritual life because I want to continue to grow in my spiritual life. But, God is so good. God is so good. And I just hope and pray that you have God in your life. I hope and pray that you have that peace in your life. And I hope and pray that this video has helped you in some small way to, maybe plan your day, to maybe, have a better attitude. And right now it's tough. I get it. These short days, they're tough. They're really tough on our psyche. But we've just got to just keep a mindset. Things are going to get better. This is a season. You've heard that phrase before. This is a season. This is a season of life. And it is a season. A season. It's the winter. So anyway, saying all that, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will hit subscribe. I hope that you will come back and watch more of our videos. And I can't wait until we can start sharing yard sales with you. And like I said, I've got some that I have filmed that I haven't edited yet. And I'm going to get those up and going here in the next few days. But until then, see you in the next video, and you have a blessed day.